Good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Hope you are both doing well. Going as good as it can be. Hot one here where I am today. It's 101 right now. Weather wise, hot. I've been dog sitting for the last couple of days. How are you doing? How are you, Cement Shoes? Pippadot, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. How are you doing, Pippadot? Suzanne Garcia, hi from Spain. Hello, Susanna. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. Big Ed Gein fan. He's definitely an interesting person. Well, he was. Catherine Maloney, good evening. Welcome to tonight's trivia. Yes, all of the questions tonight are on Ed Gein. Ed Gein was definitely a very sick and twisted individual. You know, grave robber, murderer, um, a lot of things that describe him. But clinically and diagnosed insane. He never did any prison time. He spent his entire, after he was arrested, they determined that he was unfit to stand trial. They sent him away to the state mental hospital in Wisconsin. And then after he was there, I think for 9 years, they said that he was mentally competent to stand trial. That was a grandstanding by the judge who actually was running for re-election. He wanted to put that notch. Hey, I convicted and sentenced Ed Gein. But he brought him back to court, found him guilty of he was found guilty, and then he went right back to the mental institution. They couldn't put him in prison. He didn't know what he where he was or what he was doing at that time. Will, didn't he die in mental hospital? Yes, he did. At the age of 77, spent his Mendota State Mental Hospital in Wisconsin is where he spent after he was arrested. That's where he spent the rest of his life. Marina, Karen Cato, good evening. Welcome. Purple, welcome as well. Gonna give it another minute here, and then we're gonna get this going. I have a picture of his human skin chair he made. Yeah, you'll see a couple of different things that he made tonight. He made a lot of things out of with human skin. Chair, he covered a chair seat with human skin. But you'll see those pictures as well. Lori Sutton, good evening. All right, another 30 seconds, and we're gonna get this party started. If you guys ever want to pick up an interesting book, I highly suggest you pick this book up. It's the Serial Killer Calendar, This Day in Killer History. So I'll read you what, and every day is of the year is a different one. So for today, July 30th, each and every day of the year, is Frederick Bailey Deming. The 30th of July, 1853 to the 23rd May, 1894, was an English-born Australian gas fitter and murderer. He was convicted and executed for the murder of a woman in Melbourne, Australia. He is remembered today because he was suspected by some as being the notorious serial killer Jack the Ripper. Yes, he is one of those who they believe was Jack the Ripper, but it's a very good book. Kitty Koo told me about the book, and I picked it up. Very fascinating book. So let's get the trivia night going. Alrighty. Get myself in my little window. Hi, it's me in the little window. It's Little Will. All right. Trivia night. Truth, justice, and fun entertainment. I have to put this up because some people don't follow or are not here for every one of the streams, but these are the changes for the rest of 2023. After 8 questions, we do 8 questions, then we will take a 6-minute break. Time for you to use the facilities, get something to drink, maybe a snack, whatever you want to do. You have 6 minutes. There are now 16 questions each week instead of 15. The bonus question that is posted to the YouTube community page is never reused in trivia anymore. The sneak peek question is not used, so there's 16 brand new questions plus the bonus. Rankings, instead of it being on each individual page, on each individual question, are now at the end of the entire night before you actually, we get to the point where you can say, well, I got maybe a B or an A, or I did okay. Some people like to grade themselves, but again, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing this just for fun. We'd like to, excuse me, I would like to ask for my husband in the hospital. He was within 2 hours of death last night. Still trying to wrap my head around time for you to use the facilities. I'm sorry about your husband, Purple. I hope that he's able to make a complete recovery. Let's go. Hello. Welcome to tonight's trivia. All right. Again, viewer discretion is strongly advised. We are talking about a serious, subject matter here. All the trivia questions are about Ed Gein and the twisted things that he did. Now, if you're light at heart or gruesome, gory details about real life events upset you, this is not the channel for you. Everything and all the questions that you will see tonight have been researched. Every single question has been, I make them as tame as possible for YouTube. I will not be monetized for this content, but or limited content ads afterwards, because that's just the way YouTube is. All right. First question for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Urban folklore surrounding Ed Gein and his life, his relationship with his mother, never really was connected to the facts. After his mother's death, what was the first thing Ed did to pay respect to her? Was it A, refused to leave the funeral home? B, dug up every flower she planted ever? C, sat at her grave for 12 hours a day? Or D, murdered her only friend so she wouldn't be alone? What did Ed do as his way of paying respect to his mother after she died? Lemon Pie, good evening, Lemon Pie. Welcome to tonight's trivia. So if you're new here, you answer A, B, C, D, or E and make up your own guess of what he did to pay respect for his mother. 12 hours a day. Sat at her grave for 12 hours a day. This one is C. Let's go. D. E. Sang One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey. E. Called his friend Barry Mount Lion Morphew. Well, that's good, Purple. I'm glad that he's coherent now, but I hope that everything works out and he gets better. Hello, Rykart. Just joining the party, guys. Hi. Good evening, Rykart. We are on question number 1, so you didn't miss anything. Urban folklore surrounding Ed Gein and his life, his relationship with his mother, never really was connected to facts. After his mother's death, what was the first thing Ed did to pay respect to her? What did he do to pay respect to his mother? "20 seconds. Get your guess in." All right. The answer to question number 1 is C as in cat. He sat at her grave for 12 hours a day for over 3 years. Every single day, rain, shine, snow, whatever the weather condition was, it didn't matter. But every day for over 3 years, he went to her graveside and sat there for 12 hours a day. 12 hours a day. That's dedication. Got to give him that. Sweet but crazy. Yeah. All right. Question number 2. 1957 was a very violent year for Ed Gein. The FBI is still unsure how many murders he really committed that year. However, after killing Bernice Worden, what did Ed Gein do next? Was it A, he hung her from a tree like a deer? B, he removed her organs and arms? C, he confessed to the murder by mistake? Or D, he killed her son, who was a police officer? Ed Gein. Who is Ed Gein? Ed Gein, Rykart, is a serial killer, a grave robber, a sociopath, and may have been in a what's the best way to put this so YouTube doesn't strike me for this? He may have had an inappropriate relationship with his mother, who he said was the only true love of his life. He never spent a single day in prison for what he did. He spent it all in the state mental hospital in Wisconsin, at the Mendota State Mental Hospital. He was determined to be unable to aid in his own defense before the trial ever started, and that's where he would spend the rest of his life until he died at the age of 77. And a lot of famous movies that have been out there have taken inspiration for the main character from Ed Gein. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and the Anthony Perkins, was somewhat loosely based on the relationship between Ed Gein and his mother. Not so much the killing at the hotel, but that relationship, that sick relationship. He did hang her in the barn. It was horrible. Norman Bates character based on him. Yes, Marina. See, Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill was inspired. That character was inspired by Ed Gein and what he did. I mean, there's a lot of different characters from horror movies that have been based off of or taken inspiration from Ed Gein. Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs was after Ed Gein. Some of it was based on him, yes. Buffalo Bill, the Buffalo Bill character, yes. All right, question number 2. The correct answer is A as in apple. He initially hung her up on a tree and then the barn. And then he was caught with her. He was caught. He didn't go to prison for it, though. He went to the state mental hospital. A as in apple, hung her up and it was in the process of field dressing her like a deer. Question number 3. How many murders did Ed Gein say he committed between 1947 and 1952? Then paused as he walked out the door to say he may have killed 8 more. What was the original confessed total? Was it A, 72, B, 45, C, 40, or D, 52? No fair. The tree was not normal. I heard only of the barn. Didn't he say, wasn't she a great big fat person like Buffalo Bill? I don't remember if he said anything like that, Lemon Pie. 144,000. Hey, we got our 144,000 reference in. Thank you. Inner peas and cement shoes. I was wondering how long it was going to take to get that tonight. Twinsies. How many murders did Ed Gein say he committed between 1947 and 1952? Question number 3. We got D's and B. We got some C's. Couple E's. D, 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 and D. Question number 3. 10 seconds. All right, question number 3. The correct answer is C as in cat, 40. Now, the FBI says his murder total is nowhere near 40. They don't believe he even killed any more than 10. But he said he killed 40, and that is, you have to understand, he was deemed mentally insane at that time. So what he confessed to, the total, basically wasn't, connected to reality at all. But as he was walking out the door, he joked that he may have killed 8 others. But the FBI doesn't believe his total murder total is anywhere near what he said it was. All right, question number 4. During Ed Gein's original confession, he informed the police that between 1947 and 1952 that he had dug up how many freshly buried bodies to skin them for furniture and skin suits. How many people did he say he dug up? Was it A, 72, B, 59, C, 50, or D, 40? How many people did Ed Gein say he dug up? Did he feed his victims Cheez-Its? No. I don't know if he may have fed them. He probably didn't even know 40 people. Pippadot, I would guess that the likelihood of him knowing even 12 people would have been, that'd be a stretch. He was a loner most of his life. He lived on that farm and he never left unless it was for work, and then he went right back to that farm. One, his mother. I don't know how much about him at all. Good evening, Mary, and welcome to tonight's trivia. Well, maybe you'll learn something from each of the questions tonight. Yo mama. That's what's fun about the trivia is I try to give the facts, a backstory to each one, and you might learn something new. It might strike you an interest in wanting to read more about them. You never know. During Ed Gein's original confession, he informed the police that between 1947 and 1952, he had dug up how many freshly buried bodies to skin them for furniture and skin suits. Plural. That's a plural right there, ladies and gentlemen. Skin suits. He had made one complete suit, and he made a corset out of or had gotten to about that point of a corset made out of human flesh. Yeah. The mountain lions, Yugo, helped him dig up the bodies. Then he had some meth. Was he a Nazi? Ed Gein, I don't believe that he was racist in any shape or form. He may have been. I mean, it's just the times of when he was alive and when he was out there. He made hats too, and nasty belts of nipples. Yeah, he definitely did that. He was the first Etsy seller. Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to question 4 is D as in dog. He confessed to and said that he had dug up 40 people who had been just recently been buried. He would dig them up, break into their coffins, and skin them. Some of them he did at the actual cemetery, and others he brought back to his home. 40. But that's something that the FBI believes he really did do something like, close to 40, if not 40. Why do I eat before I watch? I don't know. I'm sorry, Inner Peas. All right, question 5. Well, because of vandalism, you will have to do the search yourself for where Ed Gein and his mother are really buried. However, the same creepy place they are in is where he stole 25 of the 40 bodies. The cemetery where Ed Gein is buried does not have a headstone for Ed. Ed does not have a headstone. Well, at least some people have made him one, and they put it, it's made out of concrete, but that's not an official headstone if it's there, and it's an unmarked grave, and it's unmarked on purpose because people have vandalized the area of like his mother's grave and his grave so much over the years. I eat to watch as I watch. All right. After question 5, after Ed Gein's arrest, law enforcement went to Ed's home. At first, it looked like a cluttered mess and every room was boarded up until they realized Ed had made it only appear so. How many of the nightmarish rooms did Ed actually board up for good? Was it A, 4 out of 6, B, 3 out of 6, C, 1 out of 6, or D, 2 out of 6? And we're not counting the bathroom. Bathroom in the house is not considered one of the rooms. So if you technically, and not counting the basement either, the 2 floors of the home, there are 6 rooms, not counting the bathrooms, not counting the basement. But how many rooms did Ed board up? Mary? B? I don't know. I should have been a surgeon instead of a truck driver. Make more money. A lot safer. But being a truck driver, though, is a commendable profession. It's a profession that not a lot of people give a lot of respect for. But things have got to get from point A to point B. People take for granted that shit is just, sorry for my cursing, is just there in the stores every time they go. Without truck drivers, we wouldn't get anything anywhere. Can't move everything by rail. You can't unload it from the rail yard directly into the store. You have to get things from point A to point B. I should have been a truck driver instead of a teacher. I'm trying. I'm not. I don't want to butcher your name, but is it pronounced Muzzed? Good. Welcome to tonight's trivia, Muzzed. Muzad. Maybe it's pronounced Muzhad. Well, either way, welcome to tonight's trivia. I'm glad you could be here with us. Nothing grosses you out. He boarded himself up each night. All right, question number 5. The correct answer is, of how many nightmarish rooms did Ed actually board up for good? The correct answer is A as in apple, 4 out of 6 rooms. He boarded up permanently and never went back in them. And that included his mother's bedroom. For years, Ed every single week would go into his mother's bedroom and replace and put fresh flowers in a vase. But he stopped doing that at some point and then boarded up her room so it never was to be disturbed again. It was impeccable. He always made sure it was cleaned and it had fresh flowers. Now, again, at some point, he decided not to continue doing that and boarded up the room for good. All right, question number 6. This is what the I hope you guys can see this picture, but on the left is the kitchen where Ed spent a majority of his time. He lived in complete squalor. The picture on your right is the bedroom that he slept in and lived in. These are the 2 rooms that Ed would spend the remainder of his time until he was arrested, and then he went away to the state mental hospital at Mendota State Mental Hospital in Wisconsin. But this is the conditions that he lived in. All right, question number 6. Which one from the list below, fictional characters from TV, movies, books, was not influenced by the real-life events and methods of the madness of Ed Gein? Was it A, Jason Voorhees, B, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, C, the Texas Chainsaw franchise, or D, the Devil's Rejects? Which one was not based on the life or an events and the madness of Ed Gein? Will, where did you a picture of my house? Danny. Lawrence Welk. E, the Jersey Shore. Kitty Coo. I'm late, but I can't watch, but just wanted to pop in and say hi. Hello, Kitty Coo. Earlier, Kitty Coo, I read today's events out of the serial killer calendar, and thank you again for telling me about that book. I really appreciate that. Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo, was not based on Ed Gein's life or madness. That's funny. Deuce Bigelow. I don't remember that. I remember the movie. But vaguely. Wasn't that Rob Schneider? Welcome, Allah. I hope you had a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us tonight. Teachers are heroes. A lot of respect. I was originally going to become a school teacher. That's what I went to college for. That and art history. But I was gonna get my certificate to teach K through 6, K through 12 or whatever it was. I can't remember. Washington State, there's 2 different ones, but it's been a long time. And geez, think back on it now. My daughter's 20, 26, 25. I can't remember. I have to sit down and actually think about how old people are. But I planned on becoming a school teacher. And let's just say that I was asked politely by the administration of the college to not return. It was something stupid me and my friends did. My dear yellow smiling. All right, question 6. Which one was which character from these horror franchises was not based on or influenced by, Ed Gein's life, methods, and madness? The correct answer is A as in apple, Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees was not inspired or based on Ed Gein or anything that he did, but all of the others were. All right, question 7. Oh, okay. So here are some of the things that he made out of. I mean, the list of things that he made out of human skin is a lot longer. What you see there in the glass case over it is a face mask that he made using. Well, he took the skin off of someone's face. There's a there's a fork there that he used. He made the handle out of a bone from a human. And the second picture is a lampshade that he made out of human faces. But these are some of the things: face mask, fork handle, eye patch, covered for a seat, lampshades, upper body suit, towel holder, 2 dice, drinking cups from a skull. These are things that he made out of the human beings that he dug up. Yeah, this is a great diet plan, Will. It is pretty gross. Question 7. Dressing up in women's clothing in skin corsets made of human skin. Ed was a twisted man. When asked by authorities, though, did Ed ever confess to necrophilia with the corpses he stole? The options are A, yes, with every single victim. He confessed to practicing necrophilia with them. B, no, he was repulsed by the idea. It never happened. C, occasionally, yes, he did. Or D, no, he only did it with his mother's corpse. Did Ed ever confess to necrophilia? We got B, a B, and another B. E. No, what is that, officer? B. Mary's going with C. Lori's going with B. Question number 7. Who's 11-5? E. Who's asking? He took them to the sock hop first. Again. I think he said the body smelled too badly. Question 7. Did Ed ever practice necrophilia with the people he dug up? 20 seconds. A. Yes, of course. The answer to question 7 is B as in boy. He was repulsed by the idea. It never happened, according to what Ed Gein confessed to. He never practiced necrophilia with any of his victims. Well, the ones he murdered and the people he dug up. He never did it. All right, question 8. Of all the crimes Ed Gein confessed to everything we know now he did that he wouldn't talk about, how many counts of murder was he charged with? Was it A, 72, B, 91, C, 3, or D, 106? He'd rather turn them into furniture. That's true. The man had high morals. I don't think he had morals at all. How many counts of murder was he charged with? Question number 8. 3.14 pie. Lemon pie. Every week I buy my wife those lemon pies that you made by Franz. You buy them, like the little fruit pies in the grocery store. And I put one of those in her lunch every day. Was he religious? Ed, at one point when his mother was alive, he was religious. After everything went out the window once she died. That was the only thing that basically kept him sane. E, one count of making furniture. He was suspected of killing his brother. That is true. And there's a question later on the trivia about that. We will get into excuse me. We will get into that. His mom made him read the Bible. Yeah. All right. Question number 8. The correct answer is C, as in cat. 3. He was charged with one count of murder on November 21st, 1957. And then while on the witness stand for that, he confessed to killing Worden and Hogan, 2 additional. So 3 counts of murder altogether. But of course, he didn't serve any time in prison for it. He was deemed to be mentally insane and sent to prison. So 3 counts. Guess he skipped the thou shall not kill part. Yeah, right. 3 counts of murder. Cool. All right. We will now take a 6-minute break. So go use the restroom, get yourself something, drink or snack or whatever you want to do. 6 minutes. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Minor detail. Have a good night, everybody. You're taking off. Let's go. Well, you have a terrific week ahead. Thank you for being here if you're taking off. Smoke them if you got them. Going for a cup of tea and a smoke. There you go. in the 1950 in the 50s, did everyone get off on mental illness and sanity? No, no, but it was a lot more prevalent, a lot easier then, and I guess than it would be today, because even people who are completely insane, like Lori Vallow, with enough medication, you can make them, sane, so they can actually stand trial for their crimes. I'm heating up my food. There you go. No food for me, thanks. This good weight loss program, they play this trivia. Got a little over 4 minutes left. Therapy and psychiatrics were an emerging thing then. Yeah, yeah, but then by the 1980s, we start closing down state mental hospitals left and right, and just pushing the inmates back out the door. All the good things that good old the Gipper Ronald Reagan did. One of the things that he did that was horrifying is pulling funding for state mental hospitals. A lot of state hospitals that cared for the mentally deranged and ill were shut down. I mean, some of them had horrific living conditions in them. I'm in Northfield, Minnesota tonight, guys. Northfield. I'm not familiar with where is Northfield at, Reichart? Is it north of the Twin Cities? I have a sister that lives up in Stacy, Minnesota. I got a lot of 40 miles south. Oh, okay. So it's down by going towards the border. But I have my sister lives in Stacy, Minnesota, and then I have relatives that are up and down 90 from International Falls, Brainerd, St. Cloud, Little Falls, um, Bemidji. I mean, I got relatives all over the damn state of Minnesota and the Dakotas, and then of course also in Wisconsin. I got a lot of relatives in Wisconsin still. There's a good podcast called The Killer Psych, and Candace DeLong, a former FBI profiler and psychiatric nurse. She has an episode about Ed Gein. Very interesting. I'll have to check into that. I'll write that down. Can always use a good podcast to listen to. Killer like Candace DeLong. Well, thank you for letting me know about that, Marina. Muggy, but not too hot. There you go. I avoid the Dakotas at all costs. After you got stuck there, I can understand that. Oh, thank you, in a piece. All right, 7 seconds. And here we go. We're back at the trivia. What two motion picture writers, directors actually made plans to dig up Ed Gein's mother to prove if a rumor was real or just a myth? Was it A, Stephen King and Errol Morris? B, Werner Herzog and Dean Koontz? C, Bentley Little and Errol Morris? Or D, Werner Herzog and Errol Morris? What two motion picture writers and directors actually made plans to dig up Ed Gein's mother to prove if a rumor was real or just a myth? Laverne and Shirley. Seville, survival, possible in the corporate. We're gonna do it. Stephen King, of course. All the Roman. Good evening and welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. Thank you for joining us tonight. What two motion picture writers, directors actually made plans to dig up Ed Gein's mother to prove if a rumor was real or just a myth? All right, question 9. The correct answer is D as in dog. Werner Herzog and Errol Morris had planned to dig up Ed Gein's mother. The myth that they were going to trying to see if it was real or or whatnot is the rumor is that there is a tunnel underneath where her grave is going out of the cemetery, and that is how Ed Gein got to the actual graveyard at night and was able to, continue to do what he was doing. Errol Morris actually showed up with a shovel and was planning to dig up the grave, but Herzog didn't show up. Good evening, Michelle. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us tonight. Question 10. Let's get to know the madman a little bit better, shall we? Every night for dinner, Ed Gein always made a simple meal. It was never the same, but he sure loved to have one item every night. What was it? A, whiskey tall, no ice. B, sourdough bread with lard butter. C, canned beans with butter. Or D, green peas and lard butter. What did he always have with his meal? A. Menudo. When I was a teen, my first Stephen King movie was Pet Sematary. I had a Warhammer dog that was in love with that movie. Traumatized me. Really, I can't remember what was the first Stephen King movie that I've ever seen. I love the TV series Kingdom Hospital, but I think that if I have to, I think the very first King movie was probably Cujo, but I can't say for certain if it was. Some fava beans and Chianti. Thought he didn't like alcohol. Pineapple on pizza. Ooh. Either C or D. He was like a child. He doesn't seem like a drinker to me. Question number 10. All right. The answer to question number 10 is D as in dog. Green peas with lard butter. Green peas with lard butter. Yeah. He always liked to have some green peas. Menudo. All right. Question number 11. Oh, actually, first off, this is a photo of Ed Gein's mother. This is a retouched photo from that was retouched in 2004. Augusta Wilhelmine Gein. There are only a few actual real photos that exist of her, and all of them are when she was younger. Green peas, I resemble that mark. Found to be mentally insane at first, then sent to the state mental hospital. Oddly, 9 years later, he was suddenly found to be sane enough to stand trial, then found guilty but insane. Where did Ed Gein live out the rest of his life? Was it A, Dodge Correction Center, B, Mendota Mental Health Center, C, La Crosse Home for Insane, or D, Wabash Valley Prison? Where did Ed Gein live out the rest of his life? Green pea soup is what the Exorcist threw up. Yeah, I like that movie. That was a good movie. Like the book a lot more, but you know, when you're talking about movies, though, Exorcist was a good one. Yeah, D. Catherine is going with A. Marina D. Pippa B. Mazad is going with A. Alva is going with B. Mary B. E. For Hollywood for inner peace. Remember, y'all, he never went to prison. Da-da-da-da. Pippa Dot is helping you. Seems like an appropriate meal for a serial killer exorcist threw up. Green pea soup. My grandmother used to make a split pea soup that I don't know how she made it, but I know she used to put a big old like ham hock, bone in there, and then cook that down, and then I don't know how whatever else she put in there that she pureed along with the peas, but it was the best split pea soup, green pea soup that I've ever had. I wish I would have gotten the recipe from her, but she's long since passed passed on. But I've tried. I'm not a big fan of split pea soup or pea soup, but the way she used to make it was really really good. I just remember that big old ham bone sitting in the middle of the pot. And then after we all ate the bone, all the meat, whatever was on there, or cartilage or whatever it was, marrow that was in the bone went to the dog. After we all ate, the dog loved it. Used to find them buried all over in the yard. Vegas. Mama Bear. Good evening, Mama Bear. Welcome to tonight's trivia. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. All right, question 11. Where did Ed Gein live out the rest of his life? The correct answer is B as in boy. Mendota's Mental Health Center is where he would spend the rest of his life. Question 12. A lot of Ed Gein's problems in life started with his mother and ended with his mother when younger. She hated his father, who she said was an alcoholic, yet those in the community never seen him drink. How did Ed feel about his father? This is from his actual confession. Was it A, he hated him like his mother? B, he loved him? C, he blamed him for all of his failures? Or is it D, he refused to talk about the man? Question 12. It's been okay, off and on again, raining here. Nothing too exciting though. Well, I'm glad you could be here with us tonight for trivia. I'm not sure, but I'm going with D. Cartilage meat. LOL. Will. Yeah, whatever's attached to the ham hocks. I mean, there ain't much meat on them anyways, but she never actually put any ham or in it, like additionally. It was always that bone. I just remember seeing it sitting in the middle of the pot. My grandmother and my great grandmother were people that if you went to their house and you were under 300 pounds, they would feed you until you got to 300 pounds. That was how they everything. You're sad? Here's a meal. You're happy? Here's a meal. Had a good day? Here's a meal. Had a terrible day? Here's a meal. Everything was, with my grandmother and my great grandmother, everything could be fixed with a meal and sitting down and talking. My grandmother, I'd walk in, I was a teenage boy. I remember in my grandmother's house, I'd walk in. She had an old farmhouse. And I'd walk in and immediately, as soon as I walked in the door, she'd just jump up from whatever she was doing. She'd set it down and then go make something for me to eat without me ever asking. And then she'd bring me food, and I'm like, I'm not hungry. Well, eat. You need to eat. You're too skinny. Really not picky dogs will eat anything. Yeah. Where are the questions coming from tonight? Theme of the night, Mama Bear. All of the questions are on Ed Gein, the serial killer, grave robber, psychopath, OCD. He had it all. He got the everything. But every week, Mama Bear, I put together 16 questions plus a bonus question on either a subject matter or an individual. All right, question 12. The correct answer is D as in dog. When law enforcement tried to get him to talk about his father, he refused to talk about him at all, other than to say that he was a hard-working man and he didn't want to talk about him. He refused to talk about him at all. Any questions that they had about his father, he just sat in silence and would not answer him. All right, question 13. Oh, this is the auction flyer for the farm. I was not able to come up with an answer to this, but the farm that Ed Gein and his brother and his mother and them all lived on was 155 acres. But when it went up for auction, there were only 97 acres being sold. Why the difference in acreage loss? I don't know. But on the this is the flyer itself. But in the actual auction inventory, there were 5 outbuildings along with the home, farm equipment, furniture, everything was being sold off at auction, and it listed the actual size of the actual farm as 97 acres, not 155. Did Ed sell off part of the property before? I don't know. I'm still trying to find the answer to that, though. All right. Next question. Question number 13. Ed Gein was always a farmer. His father left the farm to his mother after he died. She left the farm to Ed and his brother. How large was the farm? If you were listening to what I was just saying, you got the answer. Was it 320 acres? B, 235.5 acres? C, 155 acres? Or D, 115 acres? How large was the farm? Ellen J., good evening and welcome to Trivia Night. I hope you had a wonderful week and weekend. Thank you for joining us tonight. Ed Gein was always a farmer. His father left the farm to his mother after he died, and she left the farm to Ed and his brother. How large was the farm? Doesn't matter. I want it all. Question number 13. E, as big as the cemetery. Oh my God. All right, the correct answer to question 13 is C as in cat. 155 acres. Right here. Of the 155 acres the Geins owned at the time of the auction, only 97 were up for sale. I said it, and it was on the slide just before that. C as in cat. 155 acres. Question number 14. Wait. It's question 14, and we just learned that on the last question that Ed Gein has a brother. How many people did he kill? And what was his name? Was it A, Henry, and he killed 12 women? B, Henry, and he killed 19 women? C, Henry, and he killed 4 women? Or D, Henry, and he was a good man, no murders? How many people did Ed Gein's brother kill, and what was his name? His name was Barry, mountain lion. He was called Harold. D, 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 C, D, D, and D. Dirty Harry. Go ahead. Make my day, punk. What did he have? It was like a hell of a powerful gun. I can't remember what Dirty Harry had. 357? It was something. Alba is going with D as well. Why do I want chocolate? C, just for giggles. So Mama Bear was a 44 Magnum. How many people did he kill and what was his name? 357 Magnum, says Mel. Good evening, Mel. Welcome to tonight's trivia. We're on question number 14 right now. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and week. All right, the answer to question number 14 is D as in dog. His name was Henry, and he was a good man. He didn't murder anybody. So earlier, we're talking about, I can't remember who posted it, but Ed Gein may have killed his brother. And his brother died underneath suspicious circumstances. A fire had burned part of the field, and as they went to go put it out, they found his brother deceased in the field, the farm field, and he had been dead for some time when they finally found him. And the reason why he died under suspicious circumstances is because he had bruising on his upper body, back of the head, and face area. But they were never able to prove that Ed Gein had murdered his brother. All right, question number 15. Well, first, here is one of the last known photos of Ed Gein at Mendota State Hospital a week prior to his death at the age of 77. The photo you see before you is owned and is the property of the La Crosse Times newspaper. I don't think the La Crosse Times themselves, that paper, is in service anymore. They may be online only, but according to the information that I have online, this picture is owned and is the property of the La Crosse Times. So you may not use it or redistribute it without their consent. All right. Next. Question number 15. Did Ed Gein kill his brother Henry? Sometimes prior to Henry's death, Ed sold his part of the farm to Henry for cash. Then once Henry died, he got the entire farm back. Was there any evidence that he killed him? Well, were you listening to me? I hope you were. Was A, no. B, maybe, yes. C, yes, and he hinted at it later. Or D, it was a freak accident during a fire, but he didn't kill him. Did you know that he liked to work with leather during his stay at Mendota? No, Alan, I did not know that. I mean, I guess they wouldn't give him human skin. He made some freaky things out of human skin, though. Steph F. We go with B. Marina B. Mary B. Catherine B. as well. Hope you feel better soon, Mel. Prayers from Colorado for good health and to everyone here tonight. If you believe, oh, believe or not, I'm praying for you. Well, thank you, Mama Bear. I'm sure Mel appreciates that. I'm going to say a prayer tonight for Purple's husband too. There was a fire on the land that they inherited. The fire was bad. Although he got out, he could have rescued his brother, but chose not to. Hmm. Did Ed Gein kill his brother Henry? Thank you, Pippa Dot. I'm sure they both appreciate that. All right, question number 15. The correct answer to this question is B as in boy, maybe. He never said that he or hinted at that he did, or he caused his death in any way, but circumstantial evidence points to that he may have actually done it, or at the very least, he allowed him to die and didn't save him. He made his brother a skin rug. Oh wow! All right, question 16. Making body suits and furniture out of human parts takes time. So with that understanding, what did Ed do for work because he was a real shitty farmer? Was it A, odd jobs for other farmers? B, pigs, anything to do with pigs? C, a mountain lion tamer? Or D, a male exotic dancer? Making body suits and furniture out of human parts takes time. So with that understanding, what did Ed do for work? Gotta make a quick call. Try to get back before the live ends. Have a great night, everyone. You as well, Mama Bear. Thank you for being here. Meep, meep, meep. Good evening, Meep. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hey, but also babysat kids for neighbors. Kids loved him. Apparently, he was a good handyman. It has to be D. Please be D. This Mel. One of the most fascinating things is that he used to babysit. He got along with kids well. You know, his mental state when he was doing that was when he was well, as before his mother passed. Because I mean, after his mother, you know, passed away, Gin went. I mean, you can see the pictures that I posted of what the house looked like. You know, he lived in those two rooms. He refused to do anything. She was basically the only thing that kept him even somewhat sane. But after she died, all out the window after that. Can't say it once. Beep beep. McDonald's. Making bodysuits and furniture out of human parts takes time. So, with that understanding, what did Ed do for work? Because he was a real shitty farmer. The correct answer to question 16 is A, as in apple. Odd jobs for other farmers. Odd jobs. The only way he earned any money, so you could buy those cans of peas, and so you could put lard butter on them. Ugh. All right, bonus question. After his mother died, Ed had no hobbies and didn't care about the farm anymore. Not that he really did before, you know, a couple of years beforehand. So, what hobby did he pick up besides the creepy skin suit and furniture making? Why did he dig up corpses? I'll answer that in just a minute. Was it A, true crime novels and pulp fiction books? B, hunting and trapping? C, drinking whiskey with homeless train hobos? Or D, just watching TV and killing people? What hobby did he pick up later? Okay, so why did he dig people up, the corpses up, and make furniture, you know, and things that he wanted or needed? A lampshade. I gotta have it. I need a lampshade for my lamp. So he I don't know how. I don't know why you would even go there. I mean, but he dug up corpses, freshly buried corpses, and skinned them. He made belts, uh, lampshades, drinking cups out of skulls. And by the way, the skull that he used to make that drinking cup was a child. What a death of a loved one can do to someone and on others. Yeah, he decorated. He did sadistic things with body parts. Yeah, he did. Just say that Ed Gein was not going to win any humanitarian awards. I know he liked reading adventure books, so I'm not sure whether to go with A or D. No, he didn't kill any children. He dug them up. Sorry if I wasn't clear on that, Meep. He didn't kill any children. He dug them up. Dug up just about anybody. It didn't matter if it was a man. Excuse me. It didn't matter if it was a man or a woman. He preferred to dig up women. Did Ed's victims deserve it? No, Damon. Femur bones and rib cages make lovely lampshades. When the sheriff came out to the farm, they found the body of a woman strung up and gutted like a deer. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, people don't realize, you know, a lot of these, you know, nights that we people look at, you know, the crimes of like Ted Bundy, and nobody wants to think about the horrific side of what actually Ted Bundy did. It seems to be like a disconnection between, oh, he just killed people. He didn't just kill. Ted didn't just kill people. You know, Ted killed people. He had sex with their corpses. He practiced necrophilia. He, you know, he decapitated, you know, victims and kept their heads for months on end. You know, and then the people like Ed Gein. He committed some murders, but you know his main thing was digging people up from the cemetery and skinning them. Desecration of corpses. Good old Ed. Yeah. All right. The answer to the bonus question is A as in apple. True crime novels and pulp fiction books is the hobby he picked up. He started reading pulp fiction books and true crime novels. And he read a lot. All of the questions on tonight's trivia are all rated on a scale of 5. 100% of the questions come from tonight come from the case file on his crimes and the FOIA requests, and little help from Wikipedia, which actually is not filled with garbage like a lot of people have done to other Wikipedia pages. You have to take Wikipedia, entries with a grain of salt and really check a lot of them, because they make fake pages, they alter pages, they add things to people's Wikipedia pages that they never did. You'll find people on there that says that person killed 107 people and they only killed 10. Because you can edit a Wikipedia page. So how did you do tonight on trivia? This is if you want to grade yourself. You don't have to. We're just playing for fun anyways. Did you know, and back in the day, people threw Ed Gein parties at Halloween? You were asked to come as your favorite lampshade? Really? As his favorite lampshade? Wow. I know that there used to be a couple of different festivals. I didn't know it was around Halloween, but there used to be a couple of different festivals. I don't know if they still have them in and around the Plainsfield area. Plainsfield, Wisconsin. Marina got a B, 10. Hey, that's really good. Of the 16 questions tonight on the trivia, I knew the answers before I put all this together. I knew the answers to 11 of the 16. F, freaking Barry Morphew mountain lion. They shouldn't have burned his house down. But that is trivia night, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had fun. Sorry, no. B. There you go. But again, for those who are new here, just checking this out for the first time, every Sunday night at 4 p.m. we play trivia. Great. Thank you, Pippadot. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Sunday. Well, thank you, Mary. I'm glad you enjoyed it. One of these days, I'm actually going to count up how many of these trivia nights I've actually done. It's got to be in the hundreds by now. You know, if I take all the original ones, because we used to play trivia on Friday nights, but then I moved it to Sunday. Oh, it's been a pleasure being part of this, Will. Thank you. Well, thank you. I'm glad you had fun. Thank you for being here. You will stay safe out there. You never know who's going to be standing next to you. You never know who's going to be knocking on your door. Very good point, Purple. Although somebody comes knocking on my door, first they have to get in through the area in up front. I live in a housing community, and then I have a ring cam on my house on my door, keep people away, or I choose not to answer the door. Well, thank you, Purple. Yeah, it's definitely Purple. We're definitely gonna keep Purple, and everyone else in our prayers tonight. Story of Ed Gein terrified me as a small child. He'd been arrested, tried in jail quite a few years before I was born. I grew up not far from this. Oh, RMS. Wow. And welcome, RMS. Um, I grew up in the area of, well, when we still have a family farm in Prescott. And then we also have, we lived in the Green Bay area for a while. I'm very aware of where Plainsfield is. Plainfield, not field, plain, not plains. If you guys see the thumbnail to this, I actually spelled it wrong. I put in plains field. It's plain field, not no S. Ryan Upchurch is being sued. Hopefully, Ryan's family sues the pants out of him. Hmm. Well, Ryan Upchurch is. I mean, he should have just stuck to singing. I don't like some of the things that they've done. He's done and things that he's said. Some people don't know when to stay in their own lane. If you know what I mean, right, Cart? The town burned down his house. Yeah, that entire area has changed from when he lived there. Sav Girl is probably next. Are they going to burn her house down? I hope not. I don't want anybody to burn someone's house down. Yeah, Stephanie. So, reason why I wasn't here Saturday to do the Saturday morning coffee recap show is my friend Janelle passed away suddenly this past week, and it was totally unexpected. She had some health issues, but nothing like this. She normally golfed with me on Mondays, in our golf league. I'm the president of the golf league, but so we would go out in groups of four golfers at a time, and she was one of the four who was always there. But she hadn't been feeling well. She had pulled a muscle in her neck, and she was nursing that back. But she was always there. Now before that, though, I mean, when I first that when I first met her, I was the governor of my local Moose Lodge, and she was always there to financially support or help out any way she could. She volunteered a lot within her community. She is going to truly be missed by a lot of people. And I didn't really want to spell it out on the community tab, why I wasn't going to be there Saturday, to do it, because there are several friends and family members of hers that follow my content, not only on YouTube, but on other social media, because I don't just stream these trivia nights and other things to just YouTube. I mean, I post links and stuff like that on just about everywhere out there I can. But we hadn't been able to get a hold of them all at that point. So, but yeah, it sucks. The older I get, the more friends just keep on passing away. It really makes you, wonder, when is, my time up? I don't know. I hope I have a long life, but I don't know. Well, thank you. But yeah, she had she suffered a massive stroke, and then while she was they were transporting her by air to the hospital. She had a heart attack while in transport from when she was being moved from the one hospital to another by air, and it didn't look good from the beginning. So that she didn't pass by herself. She was surrounded by my friends and family, so she didn't leave this plane of existence by herself. So that's good. What do you do at the Moose Lodge? It's the Moose Lodge is Moose International is a family fraternal organization. There's all kinds of things that we do. Uh, they play bingo. Uh, there's a bar. There's a restaurant. It's all in one building. Uh, we help within the community. We pick up trash along the freeway. We do a backpack fund drive. So every year before school, we put together backpacks with essentials for children in our community where their parents just don't have the funds to be able to buy a backpack, and we fill it full of school supplies, paper, pens, crayons, whatever it is based on the age of the child. We do a lot of things. There are millions of Moose members around the world. There's Moose lodges in Australia to the UK, Canada, United States. Like I said, there's millions of members. We do all kinds of things, but it's easier to. Is the Moose Lodge a senior home? Reichardt, we do have a senior home in Florida. We have a senior home. We also have a school outside of Chicago for children that they live there for free, and they go to school and they get an education, and so from K through 12, and then if they want to go on to college or a trade school, we paid for that as well. So they never have debt. And these are children who, maybe they're growing up in the inner city, and they live there in a host family with a host family on the campus. But we do have a senior home in Florida. Haven't heard about the Moose Lodge in a long time. Yeah, and we're still around. So the difference between like the Moose Lodge and say like the Elks or all these other fraternal organizations out there, the Eagles, and stuff like that. The difference is with the with Moose and Moose International, we decided a long time ago to incorporate, so everyone has the same rights. I mean, it didn't always start off that way. There was always the women of the Moose, and then the Moose Lodge, which was run by men. So there are two different organizations, two different groups within the same organization. But we decided to meld everybody together. So women and men have, run the lodges and the volunteer efforts, and we work together. Unlike a lot of these other fraternal organizations that are out there that are dying off because they they realized too late that everybody should have an equal say in what goes on. So, my wife's best friend is connected, with the international. She flies back and forth between where we live here in Chicago, in Florida all the time. But we're around. We do good. I mean, some of the people who are out there in this world that are doing good, and within our society, we don't seek out the limelight. When we go do a volunteer effort or backpack fundraiser or a food drive, we don't call them, the national media or local television or anybody else. We just do it. And we do, thousands of things like that every year. And every lodge does stuff, within their communities to help out. I used to work for a senior center as a driver for them. I would transport the seniors to doctor's appointments, to the senior centers, and back to their homes. Those seniors were a challenge. Hmm. A lot of fraternal organizations, MEEP, are definitely dying off. It's a different era. Trying to get younger adults to want to partake and be part of something, because a lot of they've run with mindset around them. Now, not Moose. The Moose lodges are thriving. Um, I know here in my local area, we used to have four lodges. We only have three now, but there's one in each city. But the seniors were a challenge. My mother takes what's called dial a ride. It's a bus service that comes and picks her up and takes her to doctor's appointments. Basically, what you did, Reichart, and takes her to adult services, which is kind of like an activity center for aging adults. But where it's a challenge for those drivers is getting people on and off of the bus. Some of them, the mobility is an issue. Some of them, like my mother, don't, they're not all right in the head. Don't see many VFWs anymore. No, we have one VFW here, and if they get five people into the VFW, they're lucky. American Legion, Legion halls, they don't have any of them left around here. And I don't live in a like a small community. There's about the three there's three cities that are connected. And you can't tell where one city starts and the other city ends. But there's about 190,000 people here, if not more. You take all the surrounding suburbs, around us. It's got to be well over 250,000 people if you take all the other, smaller outlying cities. Reichardt's been by here. You have an American Legion still. The VFW shut down. There was a big hoopla here, and I know why the VFW lost a lot of its members and people who were going there. Was I'm almost certain this was just on a local level, but the VFW here, the people who are running it, decided that they wouldn't let Vietnam veterans be members of the VFW because the United States hadn't officially declared it a war, and it's like something to that effect about the Vietnam, and it really pissed off a lot of people, and they were like, nope. They gave up their memberships and walked out. And like, we ain't going back there. As long as those people are in charge. I wonder if the Freemasons are shrinking also. I have a Freemason lodge that's about a mile away from here. They seem to be doing pretty good. Just about every member of my family back home is a Freemason. I'm not a Freemason, but yeah, they definitely are doing well. I stopped going to the VFW because young men and women would go there, and none of those young people were ever in the military. Yeah, yeah, that was definitely something. We used to have a lot of that, at the VFW. They just come in and they just sign themselves in, if they did it at all. Your uncle was Mary Frederick. Hello, Mary. He was a Vietnam veteran. It was a war. Yeah, it was a war. I mean, but some people can be really petty about certain rules and regulations. Especially with the and why would they ever come out and say something like that in the first place? It was just dumb as hell to say it. I mean, you can think whatever you want in your head, but keep that inside there. I'm almost certain it was just something that the local lodge local VFW lodge said, but it definitely pissed off a lot of people. That was sure. They are the Illuminati. I got a book for you, Rykart. I have a lot of books on cults. We used to drink cheap in there. It's been probably, I'd say, 15 years, if not more, since I've been inside the VFW. I mean, I know where they're at. They're whatever you call it, a bar, whatever they are now. I know exactly where they're at. I mean, I walk past it at least 3 times a week. Excuse me. I walk past it, but there's never anybody. And there's no cars in the parking lot, or one car in the parking lot. I never see anybody inside. I mean, big giant glass window to look through. When I walk past it and I look inside, there's like usually just a bartender or maybe one or two other people in there. At least the one here. I don't know how to keep their doors open. Cool book, yeah. I have probably up on the shelf here, Rykart. I probably have like 20, 25 books on different cults. Um, Everything from Jim Jones and the People's Temple to Satanism, New Age cults. I know it sounds weird, but it's always interested me, from the psychological standpoint of like, why somebody would join, a group like that. How do people get mixed up in cults? And it's a lot easier than people give it credit to. They start off slow, it's never like a bum rush of like, yeah, well, you're going to join our cult and that's it. They start off slow indoctrination. Even have wedding receptions. Excuse me. But I used to know the people that ran the my local VFW, but they've all since passed away. They're passed on, and then they got new administrators and people in there, and they basically shot themselves in the foot, making some really dumb decisions and saying things that really pissed off a lot of people. Not just people who were Vietnam veterans, but other veterans as well, because they're like they're same time they're like, hey man, just because the government didn't call it a war, it doesn't mean it wasn't a war. It didn't mean that their blood didn't run just like everybody else's from every other conflict or war. But they pissed off a lot of people. A lot of people walked out and have never gone back. At least in my local one. Like I said, I don't know how the hell they stay open. They got to be getting money from somewhere. And they get it from the international. Do they have to dig into the pool for that? I don't know. It's not cheap, being in the building they're in either. They're in it's like a plaza. There's like 50 or 60 other businesses in the plaza itself. But I walk by it at least 3 times a week. So they have wedding receptions there. The place that the VFW here, they could. I mean, it's a huge building, area that they're in. I know it has a dance floor, bar. It's got a kitchen, full kitchen. It's got a stage. It's got everything. It's a big, big spot. So there's like again. I mean, I don't know if it's donations. How they're keeping the damn lights on in the place. When you're younger, just before I joined the military, a businessman was trying to make me join his Freemason organization. He would tell me that Freemasonry was not a religion. Did I watch the UFO conference yesterday? No, I did not. They rented out. They may. Maybe they do rent. Maybe that's how they're making their money, because I don't see any. I don't ever see anybody. When I walk by it, I mean, it's in the middle of the afternoon, or right around 6 o'clock when I walk by it, and there's never anybody there. I mean, the business is all by itself, in that plaza, and I walk by it, and there's no cars in the parking lot, or 1 or 2 cars. That's it. And I look in the window when I walk past it, but there's nobody in there, or the bartender and like maybe 1 or 2 other people, drinking. That's it. Don't know how they make money. Could be wedding receptions. They play a lot of VFW halls. They used to have the VFW here back when I was a teenager. They used to have rent out the place, like the stage, for different like heavy metal and punk shows, and you know different musical artists and stuff like that would play there. Not anymore. Music scene around here pretty much died right around the time that iPod came out. But people are like, I don't want to go see a live show anymore. All the places they used to do live venue shows pretty much dried up and closed. What branch of the service were you in, Rykart? But you don't mind if I ask. I think drinks were used to be 250. Wow. American Legion Hall rents it out to make money. Hmm. Well, we do it at our Moose Lodge. We rent it out for like the Boy Scouts of America for their Pinewood Derby races and stuff like that. But we only charge them a small fractional cleaning cost. That's it. We don't make any real money off it. It's like, look, You guys are gonna come in. You guys can, use the space, but we have to charge cleaning fee because we have to pay. We have a professional cleaning service that cleans the place. So American Legion Hall rents enough to make money. You played a lot of VFW halls. Oh, Air Force, and then he transferred into the Army for 6 years, 96 to 2005. Well, Reichart, thank you very much for your service. I really appreciate it. I did my time in the United States Marine Corps, 4 years. United States Marine Corps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. Thank you very much for everybody being here. Again, if you're new here, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Whichever is up to you. But again, we play trivia every Sunday night at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and same format, 16 questions plus the bonus question. And then I post a question on Monday mornings by 10 a.m. on the community tab here on YouTube. That way you get an idea of what the questions will be like on the following Sunday. But thank you again, everyone, for being here. And I hope each and every one of you has a great week ahead. Stay safe out there. And as Purple would love to say and point out, you never know who you're going to be standing next to or who will be knocking at your door next. Think on that one. You'll all have a terrific week ahead. Bye.